Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is all about congruence, and I wanted to have this discussion because so many of us, we've heard this word being congruent, but do we really know what that means? And that's why I wanted to bring this message to you, because I've been diving into the work of Caroline Myss, and I love what she talks into, and I love her definition, which is that congruence is when your mind and your heart are in agreement. So this is really important because most of us, we're living our lives out of congruence. We're operating incongruently with our ultimate truth. And our ultimate truth is really when that mind and heart meet in the middle. It's when they come to an agreement. It's not a battle of the heart against the mind. And this is the piece that most of us kind of miss, and we kind of wonder, well, why is it that I'm feeling so unfulfilled? Why is it that I feel so confused? Why is it that I don't know what decision to make? And I feel like my life doesn't have meaning and I don't know what direction to go. Ultimately, it's because we're not in alignment between the mind and the heart. And so we have to go on this journey. There's no real quick fix. And that's personal development for you. But ultimately, we need to get clear. We need to be able to tap into and listen intuitively to what our heart desires. And also, we need to be able to think about things from multiple different aspects, and not overthink and not overanalyze, but like get to a place of true alignment. Because ultimately, when we just go for the mind, we totally overthink everything. We get disattached to that internal wisdom, to our heart's wisdom. And ultimately we can, either not make any decision, not want to move forward, or make the wrong decisions and just constantly not trust ourselves because we're constantly overthinking everything and making the wrong decision. And the same is true when we're just not thinking things through whatsoever. We're not tapping into the intelligence of the mind, and we are so just focused on how we feel about things without thinking things through, and ultimately we end up with the same result. So I really like thinking about it this way in terms of, tapping into and finding an alignment between your heart and your mind. So I'm hoping that this is resonating with you guys. I really like how she spoke into this, because I think that most of us can get really skeptical in this industry and in personal development of the mind, the overthinking mind. And you guys know that I'm always talking into tapping into your internal wisdom. But that's because most of us need to have that lesson. Most of us need to grow in our ability to tap into our intuition and tap into what we really want in our lives. I know personally that's been my journey in tapping into, hey, what do I really want? What can I listen to myself? Can I listen to my internal wisdom, to my heart? And ultimately, that's the journey I've had to go on, and I know it is for a lot of you guys out there as well. But also, we need to value the mind. We need to value that level of intelligence as well. Not one is not better than the other, but we do need to find a middle point of balance, of conjunction, and that is how we make our best decisions. And so that's what I want to get you thinking about. Now, I know your next question is probably, well, how the hell do I do that? How do I, tap into and make sure that my heart is aligning with my mind and vice versa? And ultimately, that's a journey that I'm on myself as well. And I think that it's something kind of individual to you. It's a journey. We have to go on this journey of tapping into, what does my internal self say? What does my heart say? Versus, okay, well, here's all the information, here's all the logic, here's all the rationale, and where's the middle point? And you might even do this. This is what I would suggest for you guys. If you are faced with some sort of decision, or you're currently in some sort of confusion and you don't have clarity or direction, I would get you to get 2 pieces of paper, and I would get you to write both perspectives. What is my heart saying? What am I without the logic, the rationale, and the overthinking getting in the way, what am I called to do from that internal place, from that internal wisdom? And then vice versa, going to the other piece of paper and thinking, okay, well, what does my head say? Where's the logic? Where's the rationale here? What's going on in the bigger picture here? And then, this is a practice that will allow you to feel the difference, physically feel the difference between that tapping into that internal wisdom versus tapping into your mind's wisdom. And this is the process of building self-awareness so that we can tap into both, make sure that both are coming to the party, and ultimately that's how we make our greatest decisions in our lives. So I'm hoping that this is resonating with you guys. I hope that it's helpful to you guys, and I hope that you're going to give that journaling practice a go, particularly if you are faced currently with a decision to make and you're in confusion. We need to get you practicing congruence. And remember, congruence is when your mind and your heart are in agreement and in alignment. So the way we need to do that is build the self-awareness, making sure that we're tapping into both the heart and the mind. That's a simple practice that you can give a go right now in terms of journaling from the perspective of your heart, journaling from the perspective of your mind, and then finding the overlap, from tapping into both levels of wisdom. Then, see what comes from both. Have a party with the three of you going on there, and ultimately come up with a great decision. And I would absolutely love to help you with any of this if that is of value to you. If you'd like some personal guidance, make sure you come on over and join the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. Sorry, I wasn't going to say that. I was actually going to say book in a 15-minute power session with me, but definitely come on over and join the Inner Circle community as well. Get some different perspectives from extraordinary quality of people who are looking to up-level their limitless potential, get to the next level. And I want to check in with you guys and remember what I've been saying over the last couple of days, guys. I can't actually see who's been able to join me anymore. I don't know if it's something I've done or it's just a new update on Facebook Live. But if you want me to engage with you, please drop me a comment, say hi, drop me a question, any of that, and I'll be happy to engage with you. And I've got Sam and Chris, awesome, and Sabri and Meha and Chris. I have a question. I love questions, Chris. Awesome. I thought about you earlier. I wanted to know if I should keep being friends with people that refuse to learn or grow. I try to explain how I feel they are not aligned, but they keep making poor choices. I don't like to be around it. What should I do? Should I just separate or accept everyone is different? Awesome question, Chris. And it's one that I've navigated a lot in my life, and so I really appreciate you bringing this to the conversation today. As always, you are so appreciated. And what I would say about that is, what empowers you? You have to, at the end of the day, go on a journey. Don't get caught in the mindset that so many of us do, which is, that relationships are meant to last our whole entire lifetimes. They don't necessarily. Just because you need to move on and go on separate paths doesn't make any relationship a failure. People come into our lives at different points in time, and we serve them and they serve us, and that's brilliant. And some last the test of time, some don't. But what I would get you to do, Chris, is definitely ask yourself, what is most empowering for myself and for them? Never run away, never avoid. I know it's uncomfortable at times when we have to communicate what, our changes to the people in our lives. Maybe we've been operating as a certain person with them, but we've gone on our own growth journey. We're now we've expanded our minds in different avenues. We're going down different paths. And what I would say is always, 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 if you value somebody and they've added a massive amount of value to your life, give them an opportunity. Get enough self-awareness to know how your needs have shifted and changed. Communicate lovingly and openly and courageously with them about what's not working for you, what is working for you. I know I've done a Facebook Live just recently. I could link it up after this about how to actually have this kind of communication, like bring the structure of the communication in such a way that it makes your relationship better and doesn't put people in a defensive state. So I'll track that down if that's interesting to you. But ultimately, you have to give them the opportunity to meet you where you are at. And if you've done that and they're still not resonating and it's just not working out, if it's disempowering you and it's disempowering them for you to stay in a relationship, then do the kindest thing to yourself and to them, which is to, find everything that you're grateful for on that journey that you've been with them. Lovingly have no regrets, have only focus on all the value that you've added to each other's lives, the magic moments, the memories, the fun, all of that stuff, but have enough respect and value for yourself and for them to move on from anything that doesn't serve you. If it disempowers you, if it brings you down, you got to do something about it, because when you don't, you disempower yourself, you don't trust yourself anymore, you devalue yourself, and then ultimately you stunt your growth and potential because you're not trusting within you. So it's not an easy place to be, Chris. I totally resonate with that, but I would get clear on what's changed for me. What do I need to communicate with them to at least give them an opportunity to meet me where I'm at and come on that journey, and also then have the respect for yourself and them to move on or to make the changes and do whatever is most empowering to you and to them. Hope that was helpful, Chris, and I so appreciate you and your questions. Oh, and you've written a little bit more. I missed it. My heart says help. My mind says help. My mind says separate, because they will not learn from you. They will learn from failure. Yeah, okay. So Chris, what I would say to you is you could definitely utilize the exercise that we were just talking about in terms of, I get it, you're getting clear on what the heart says, what your mind says, and then ultimately with both of those answers, what's most empowering for you? What's really going to help and support you in building a better relationship with yourself and getting to a new level of your potential? And ultimately, whatever is best and most empowering for you is also best for them. Never stay stuck in any relationship that disempowers you in any way, but make sure you're not running away and avoiding. Make sure that you're getting clear on what your needs are and you're communicating with them and giving them that opportunity to meet you where you're at. I hope that was helpful, Chris, and you are absolutely so appreciated, as I said. And Chris, the heart beats without a brain when we grow in the womb. The heart is beautiful. I love that, Chris. I always love your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. And Mario, this is so perfect for me right now. I am resonating with this so much. I left you a message on Instagram on a picture you posted yesterday that has a deal perfectly with this subject. Could you please message me back whenever you can? I absolutely will, Mario. Thank you so much for letting me know. I will check out my notifications. I always appreciate you guys when you let me know if you have corresponded with me somewhere and I might have missed it. I so appreciate that, Mario, and once I get off this Facebook Live, I will go and check that out and get back to you for sure. And thanks so much for being here. And Shori, I'm not sure how to say your name, but hello to you. And Richard, is it possible to be in a sales-driven career and be congruent at the same time? What if the heart says something different to what the job entails? It's a career, so it's not like you have a choice, or can you still be aligned? Richard, I would say that we always have a choice. Not getting stuck in a career that is incongruent with what your values are, what your morals are. Ultimately, you're never going to be happy. You're never going to feel congruent if you're operating in a job or in a career that is not in alignment with the truth of who you are. And particularly if it goes against your values, integrity, that can be very damaging. So I'm a big proponent of never, ever, ever staying in a job, in a relationship, in anything that you just feel like you have to because you're getting money or it's some sort of security for you. Trust in your ability to find something that is in alignment. And what I would say in terms of sales, I don't see sales as necessarily bad. It depends where it's coming from. So the way I term sales, particularly in this industry, is being of service. Instead of like terming it like it's selling, you're trying to get something from somebody. If you've got something to offer that is of value and you truly believe in it, you are doing the people around you a disservice. Anybody who that can support and help, you're doing them a disservice by not offering it to them, and that is how I would term it. If it is something that is in congruence with what you value, and you're being a great person and you're adding value, then it's service, not selling. But if it's something that is totally out of alignment with you, you feel like you're not having very much integrity in that career, I would seriously question why you're there and get out of that sort of thing. You always have a choice. And what else can I say there? I think that I've answered your question there, Richard. You let me know if I haven't. But definitely you can again use the tool that I just mentioned before in terms of if you're questioning that career path. Get the perspective of your heart, get the perspective of your mind. Make sure that you find some way of those two agreeing. It's not just about going with the mind, safety, security, and the heart saying this doesn't feel right to who I am. You have to find congruence, or you'll always feel weird. You'll always feel like you've got these inner conflicts going on and you can never be at peace. So appreciate your question, Richard, and I absolutely hope that was of value to you. And Mario, thank you, Vanessa. I love your live chats. I hope you have an amazing day, you beautiful human being. Oh, thank you so much, and straight back at you, Mario. And I'm so grateful that you're finding value in these messages. And Francis, awesome to see you. And Jessica, great info as always. Thank you so much. I love that these messages are resonating with you. And Linda, thank you for the lovely advice, Vanessa. You're so welcome, Linda, and I so appreciate having you here. And Shawi, I hope I'm saying your name right. Yes, you are great. Thanks so much for this information. You're so welcome, Shawi. I hate getting your names wrong, but I don't have any feedback in the moment. So thank you so much for your kind words there. And Chris, I feel empowered by spreading knowledge and helping clarify life for others. Yes, Chris, and you're so brilliant at it. I love you when you share your words of wisdom. Absolutely, and I don't think there's anything more empowering than feeling as though you can add value to somebody else's life, particularly when it, really clarifies life for them, like you said. Clarity is such power in our lives. So appreciate you, Chris and Francis. And if you have kids, won't they get hurt emotionally? I don't know what you were referring to there, Francis. Let me know, because I scroll through these comments after I've been chatting away. So let me know what you mean there. I'm not really picking up what you're putting down there. Won't they get hurt emotionally? You let me know. Clarify that for me, Francis. I'd love to make sure that I'm answering that for you. And Chris, exactly. Thank you, Vanessa. I won't run. I will give it more time and understanding. Absolutely, Chris. And never, ever, ever selling yourself out. If you're starting to feel resentment, if you feel like you're dulling your opinions down, if you're dulling yourself down to not rock the boat, that's not going to be healthy either. So it's really about just having this self-awareness as to why you're doing what you're doing, making sure that you're coming from love, not fear, and definitely what's most empowering for you and for them. Don't ever disempower yourself or them, and have the courage and confidence to move on from anything that no longer serves you. Hope that was helpful, Chris. And Hassani, if we're not intentional about making our friendships last, doesn't that cause us to approach our relationships half-heartedly? Yeah, I mean, I think that we always need to be intentional. Absolutely. Whenever we are not intentional, we fall into default, and who knows what's going to happen there. So in every single area of our lives, we do need to be intentional if we're looking to progress and get to a new level of potential in our relationships, our friendships, in our health, in our finances, in absolutely every single area of life. I absolutely would say that. And yeah, when we're not intentional. So But I think that we need to, so today's message is all about congruence. So we need to be intentional by making sure that we are operating and making our decisions, setting our goals, setting our intentions in alignment with our heart and our mind, so that we are ensuring that everything that we are doing is in absolute congruence with who we are and where we want to go. So hope that helped. Hassani, thank you so much for being here as always. And Francis, and if kids are involved. Yeah, Francis, I'm still not picking up what you're putting down. Let me know. I'm actually thinking that based on the conversation now, you're referring to what if you need to move out of relationships that aren't serving you. Well, okay, so I don't have kids myself, okay? So this is coming from just me sharing a perspective, and you can take with it whatever resonates with you. But I am a really big believer, and I've learnt this from people who do have children, and I really love how they live their lives and their lifestyle. Particularly Tony Robbins would say, talking to this. And it is that whatever is most empowering for you as an individual is going to be most empowering for your children, because you are their role model. So you have a great vantage point to ultimately teach your children how they should allow themselves to be treated, what sort of healthy boundaries they should have in relationship. Teach them the empowerment that comes from leaving anything that no longer serves you or another person. And ultimately that is like the greatest gift that you can give to kids, to children. So and also from the other side, if you are, say, a parent and this is going to be something that affects children, then you need to take that into consideration as well, being the adult. What is best and empowering for you and those children that you are acting on behalf of, that your decision will impact. So let me know if that answered your question. I just think that's what you might have been talking about. And Richard, love it. It's service and not sales. That's a great perspective. Totally in alignment now. Awesome, Richard. I love that you loved that. And Matthew, hello, Vanessa. How's your day? I've added you on Facebook. Wondering if you could accept my friend's request. Yes, I've got like 1,000 friends requests. Facebook keeps sending me this message like I have to accept or delete and all this stuff. So please, if you have sent me a Facebook friends request, it's probably lost. So I would suggest resend it to me. And if you can do that for me today, then I will be conscious of what's coming through and I will accept that there. Matthew, thank you so much. And Mohammed, thanks for being here. And Francis, okay, thank you, Vanessa. What if you have young kids and the relationship with their dad doesn't make you happy anymore? If you separate, won't it damage the kids emotionally? Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I probably should have scrolled through to see that question there, but that's what I assumed you meant, Francis. So that's how I answered it for you. Give your children the gift of an incredible relationship with yourself. Whenever I speak to parents, because I know kids are such a leverage point for their loving parents, which is, if your daughter or your son was in the same position that you're in currently, what advice would you give them? And oftentimes we give them a message, a decision from unconditional love, and that is the kind of decision that you need to take on board yourself. If it doesn't serve you, if it disempowers you, if it goes against your truth, if you are showing your children that you are accepting disrespect or, devaluing of yourself, you're allowing poor treatment, that's not a great lesson to teach your beautiful children. And what would be a much better one is to show them the strength, the courage that it takes to leave something behind that no longer serves you. Don't run away like I'm talking about. Always give another person an opportunity to meet you where you're at. That is emotional intelligence. That's being an adult. But ultimately, you need to think on behalf of your children, not so much, what they're going to be missing out on, like, they won't have like this mother and father together. If that's not a healthy relationship, the healthiest thing that I believe you can do for any children is to remove them from that unhealthy environment and create a loving relationship with yourself. That is so much more impactful in a positive way to surround your children with people who own who they are and they treat themselves with love, honor, and respect. You teach them how to do that. And I'm sure that your advice to your children would be to leave something that was abusive, that was not serving, that was disempowering them, that was beating down on their self-belief and honor of themselves and all sorts of stuff. So, put yourself in that perspective, put your children in, whatever's your experience is right now, and what advice would you give to them that will hopefully get you to a more empowered decision to make, and focus on all that's to gain for those children with you being in a happier place, a more empowered place. So, I hope that was valuable to you, Frances and Chris. You should do what is best for you. Don't make it work for the kids. Trust me. Love it. Absolutely. You will be teaching them a life lesson that you can find courage to make big changes. Absolutely. I love having you on board, Chris. You're a rock star. And you're so welcome, Frances. And I'm grateful that you are so helpful there, Chris. And that's great advice, Vanessa. I step back often and ask, what should I tell a loved one to do in my situation? I can usually get a quick resolution. Absolutely. Because we often, we're so much more loving to those people around us than we can often be for ourselves, and we get stuck in such confusion. So definitely it's a great strategy to use to trade places and definitely come up with your most loving response and decision. So guys, I have absolutely so appreciated each and every one of you guys joining me today, engaging with me. You guys rock. I love your questions. They're so intelligent. They keep me on my toes, and I so appreciate you guys being here. And Joe, sweet, thank you so much. And you're from Italy. I love Italy at 11 p.m. Thanks for joining me so late. And that is it from me today, guys. I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope you are having a rocking day, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. So any questions, comments, feedback for me, make sure you let me know. And I'm sending you all my love, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.